Hey there, folks. This is Walt for Walt's Manga Update for the date of February 27th, 2012. How y'all doing? I've had a bad week. My account kind of got shut down for copyright and shits, but fuck it. I'm back up, trying to bring this series back, and I think this is a good time to, re-explain what Walt's Manga Update is. And what it basically is where I take a bunch of chapters from a bunch of currently running series that I read, and I basically talk about my feelings on them. Yes, I talk about the big three, Naruto, Bleach, and, well, I would talk about One Piece, but it's on break this week. I talk about a bunch of different shonen titles. I talk about a bunch of monthly seinen and shoujo titles. I'd be lying if I didn't say this was mostly shonen, but, it's still, I like what I'm doing here. I like it. So, let's sit back and let's read some chapters, starting with what I believe is the best chapter of this week. And the best chapter of this week would have to be Kenichi, chapter 465, Welcome Back. So, what happened this chapter? Well, this chapter, Mew finally regained her memories somewhat. She still kind of has the whole demon within her thing. I have no idea how that works, since the whole point of it was she was mind-wiped, she was mind-wiped, and then new memories were reimplanted in her. So, is it some kind of mind control thing? That the dude can control minds? Oh, but now I want to see this arc end with Akira being mind controlled. I so want to see this arc end that way. That'd be awesome. Then we have a Rescue Akira arc. This whole manga is just going to turn into a giant series of rescue arcs because of this stupid hypnosis power. Yes, we must have the cheesy rescue arcs. But anyway, so of course they still have to deal with the giant behemoth guy who is on a rampage still, and of course they have to use this move, which, okay, I know every Kenichi move by what it looks like in the artwork, not by its name, and it's kind of called the Korin Babpabtu Debda. Yeah, I don't know the names, I'm sorry. And of course they use the move, and down goes the giant. And of course, Kenichi ends the chapter by telling Mew, welcome back. Overall, I think this was a fine chapter. Damn good chapter. Best of the week, in my opinion. Though, we still got some good chapters coming, but this was a great chapter, and of course we still got one more fight, Akira versus Janazed, which hopefully will finish out this arc beautifully. Naruto chapter 575, Stone Will. So, this chapter kind of ends stupidly, but let's talk about what actually happens. So, what happens is, everyone has kind of been defeated by this one big attack, and this is the fight with the 5 Kages versus Madara. We decided we had to jump right back into that, kind of after dealing with a Sasuke chapter. And so, they're still fighting, and of course, the Susei Kage has flashbacks to him cleaning a stone, which is supposed to represent the village, and the Susei Kage of the time just takes the stone, throw it in the water, and it's like, oh, you can't tell it apart from the other stones. But what really matters is the meaning behind the stone, the will to keep going and all that. And of course, flashback to another fight with Madara where he picks up a stone that's supposed to symbolize his undying will, and of course he drops it, meaning his will is broken, he can't fight. And then flash forward, and it's like, I ain't quitting this time, bitch. Boom! Atomizer beam all of a sudden. At least that's what I'm assuming it was. I mean, that's pretty much what all the dust elements are, like futuristic atomizer beams. It's weird. Anyway, we get this big reveal that it's the first Hokage's face in Madara's chest. So, apparently when he was brought back, the two were fused together. That's why he can use the first Hokage's moves, and oh, it looked freaky. It looked awful. It looked weird. It was cool. That was an awesome thing to finish on, and then we had to go to Sasuke, and of course we had to end on two cliffhanger endings. One with the first Hokage's face in Madara, the second with Sasuke and Itachi finally passing each other. And I gotta give this to the author. He was smart enough to know that Sasuke passing by Itachi should get more than a stolic look on Sasuke's face, because he's making the biggest what face you have ever seen. So overall, it was an okay chapter, better than last week's, but not that good. Overall, just kind of middle of the road. Brace yourself, folks. Hunter x Hunter's art went to shit again. Hunter x Hunter, chapter 337, Confession. So, like I said, yeah, the artwork went to shit again. Not as bad as it can get, but still, this artwork makes me question if someone maybe is trolling all American fans. Like, I just have such a hard time believing that this artwork runs in a magazine like Shonen Jump. It really does. But anyway, so what happened this chapter? Well, we have the koala guy. And I don't know his name other than Koala Guy, because that's the animal he is. He's a koala who's a gunman, and he's apologizing to the little girl for shooting her body in a past life. But, okay. So, this chapter was a little weird, because the koala is basically apologizing for killing the girl who is now Kaito's body. And Kaito, if you don't remember, he's been killed, but he's been reborn as a little girl. So does that mean, like, Kaito and the little girl are, like, kind of one person or something? I honestly don't know, like, but anyway, so I guess Kaito just kind of plays along as, like, alright, I'll give you a job. You stick with me. You work for me for the rest of life. I'll keep you busy enough that you never question if you're on the right path. There you go. And then, of course, we have Gon, who came to apologize for letting him die because he wasn't strong enough. And he's like, hey, it's cool, man. I mean, we're still comrades. Neither of us were strong enough. We'll get stronger. We'll take out any opponent that comes our way. But hey, you gotta go see your father. And he does, because he only got, like, one brief meeting. But, of course, when Gon does go to finally see his father, we get a little crappily drawn picture, which is what I would have expected to be crappily drawn, not this chapter, saying, I'll meet you at the top of the world tree, which honestly made me think it's just going to be like a giant tree, like when Toriko climbed the giant vine in order to get to the ozone herb. And, of course, we end the chapter on Gon's disgruntled face. So, how was this chapter? Like I said, it was confusing at first to know just what the hell everyone was talking about. And even once I figured it out, I thought, this wasn't really that good a chapter. So, I can't recommend this chapter. And, I'll be honest, I hate the artwork of this so much. Like, when it gets good, it's good. Like, during the political parts before this new arc started, the artwork was decent, and then all of a sudden it went to crap, and, I can't recommend this chapter. I can't. Bleach, chapter 482, Bad Recognition. So, what happened in this chapter of Bleach? Well, war were declared. Yep. Apparently, so we had the Arrancar looking guy come back, and he followed Ichigo, so if they were going to fight, it wouldn't be in an area where his friends would get caught up, and he's like, so are you here to avenge Aizen, or are you here to, I'm sorry, let me catch my breath, I don't know why I just suddenly lost my breath there for a moment. He's like, are you here to avenge Aizen, are you here to hurt my friends, what are you doing here? And he's like, wait, you think I'm an Arrancar? I ain't no Arrancar, bitch! And then he pulls out like a Quincy bow to show he's Quincy. And then, of course, the Quincy declare war on the Soul Society. Yeah. And, yeah, that's pretty much what happens. It's like, exactly what I said at the beginning. War were declared. You magnificent bastard, I read your manga! So, yeah, now we're getting this huge war between the Quincy and the Soul Society. There is one more part to this chapter, and that is there's an investigation of a village disappearing that, I forget the name of the character, he's the bald guy. And so they're trying to investigate what happened to these missing villagers, and they find a clue that basically tells them the villagers weren't abducted, they abducted each other. Which is weird. So, yeah, we kind of have that small subplot going on along with all this, so... overall, not a bad chapter. Overall, it wasn't a bad reveal of the whole Quincy's going to war. Yeah, I can't say it was a bad chapter. I don't know why, but it always feels weird because I've gotten so used to bashing on Bleach, because when I started this show and I started reviewing Bleach, it was during the last arc, but now it's not too bad. I mean, I'll admit, I don't enjoy it as much as, like, One Piece, but it's not bad. Not bad at all. Reborn, Chapter 374, Hibari Kyoya vs. Zanzis. So, with last chapter's fight of Fawn and Manon finishing up with Manon being the victor, Manon releases his present, I believe that's what it's called, of being able to return to his normal form. But he didn't release it at first. I have to point this out because this is exactly what Fawn did. He kept it going for a little bit of time, and then he canceled it. Now, I know you need the time in order to say, like, activate present or whatever they do to summon it, but I'm pretty sure it's more effective to, like, cut it out and call it back in, like, when needed. Like, a couple few second bursts rather than just hold it on there, because you got limited time. You kind of don't want to waste it, but of course it's more dramatic if he waits to cancel it. Fuck that. Effectiveness over drama, you assholes. And I'm talking to the author, not the characters. Anyway, so this chapter is basically Dino coming in once again to teach Hibari that he's still a weakling, which at this point kind of doesn't work, but okay. So, of course, Dino's like, you can't beat Zanzis, and so he's like, oh yeah, watch me. And Dino's like, okay, I'll prove it to you. Hey, Zanzis. And Zanzis is like, what? And Dino's like, nah, you got beat by Suna. Okay, he does it in a more mature way, but that's basically what he does, and it pisses Zanzis off to the point where he pretty much blows up the entire hotel room. But we also get a little insight into why Hibari designed those whip-like attachments to his Tofons. It was during a fight with Dino that Hibari asked him why he uses a whip, and Dino explained that it was a good weapon for precision attacks, not pure strength. And so when he asked if Hibari wanted to learn the whip, and he said, I'd never carry around something that weak. Tofons are strong, they're hard. And so that's how we learn, and so that's why he started using Tofons that extend into whips. So now, if I had to predict, Hibari is like apparently God incarnate, so if I had to make a prediction, I think Hibari is going to survive that, and because of it's being foreshadowed in this chapter, Zanzis' watch is going to be taken out by the precision of Hibari's Tofon whips. So overall, I really enjoyed the chapter. It was very good, very fun. I like Hibari. I know some people don't, but I do. He's a pretty fun character when he really gets a chance to just talk down to some characters. It's funny. Anyway, but overall, good chapter. I really liked it. Fairy Tail, Chapter 272, The Noble Loser. All the problems with this chapter that everyone has been saying, so many people have pointed out, like, I have almost heard a problem for every page of this chapter. Some I agree with, some I don't, and so I'm going to have to sit down and talk about a lot of this, but I'm just going to point out the key problems that everyone has been talking about that I agree with and some that I don't agree with. So the first one is, everyone has been saying there are two masters of Fairy Tail there, and they are completely right. The third and the first. Why is it that no one can I'm sorry. Two masters of Fairy Tail, they've always used the power to tell when people are about to use magic. Why is it that no one can feel that little girl's about to be attacked? Why can no one sense Flair's magic? That was the name I was trying to think of. I'm sorry. Why can no one... Okay, now this might be cool if they do it, but my only prediction to that is maybe Flair's magic is not being able to move her hair. Maybe that's just sort of something she can do outside of magic. That's the only way you could possibly describe to me that two masters of fairy tale could not fucking sense her magic and stop that little kid from being attacked. No, we had to wait for Natsu to come in and rip that hair, which, by the way, that's one thing I noticed, is that all he does is rip a little bit off the hair. Like, what's keeping the rest of it from not attacking her for this? I seriously don't get that. Okay, so next up, Lucy, of course, we get some random fan service because Lucy summons Gemini, and she's wearing a towel, oh well. So basically, from there, they're going to use their big final attack, and then pop! Like someone just took a pin and popped a bubble that you were blowing with your bubble gum. Just pop! And she collapses from lack of magic. Everyone has said that this is an awful idea. This was horribly stupid. I disagree. I honestly think this was perfectly explained because we've seen some people be able to nullify magic, and that's what happened here, is one of Raventail's members nullified the magic, and apparently, of course, Flair won from that, and Natsu's like, okay, we're just gonna come back from this defeat. And, of course, next time we're probably going to see Fairy Tail B-Team against Sabretooth, if I had to guess. But a lot of people, I think that this was very well handled. We already know Raventail are a bunch of lying, cheating, despicable bastards, and, of course, this was just to emphasize that. Now, of course, if it were me writing this, I think I would at least bring this up. Not now, not next chapter, mind you, but later on, like, there was some kind of internal investigation into that match, because we saw that one of the judges had a problem with that match. So I would think that it would be very, very good, a very good bit of writing, if maybe this is brought up later, saying, before the next fight we have something to say. During the first fight of the tournament between Lucy of Fairy Tail and Flair of Raventail, we have found proof that outside sources assisted Raventail in that match. Therefore, we are nullifying the victory of Raventail and awarding 10 points to Fairy Tail. That's just me. There's no way Hero is going to do this. There's no way this is ever going to happen. Because it's good writing. It's good writing to come back to that kind of stuff. But anyway, so overall, it's a mixed bag of a chapter. If you either like it or you didn't. I thought it was okay, but there were problems. There were a lot of problems with this chapter. Toriko, chapter 177, Dodorian Bomb. So, in order to build the Ihomaki, which apparently is this awesome sushi dish that will tell the future, they've needed 3 ingredients. First, the Madam Fish, which they already got. The King Vinegar, which they got last chapter. I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing every fucking thing. Not just one fucking thing, every fucking thing. But now, they're going to get the Dodorian Bomb, a special fruit known for how stinky it is. I don't even joke. And so basically, they take this one joke of this fruit smells really fucking bad and see how far they can take this one chapter. How is it? It's alright. I mean, I'll admit, it was definitely, I was laughing, but it's definitely not one that I've laughed at upon rereading. So, for the first viewing, it's good. For any other viewing other than that, it's kind of bland. Basically what happens is they find the fruit and they're dealing with the horrible lingering smell that apparently came from the fruit hundreds of years ago. And when they finally find the fruit, it's so ripe that it's falling off the branches, about to hit the ground, and when it does, it will release an odor so bad that everyone around the world will cringe at it. Like, literally, it just shows little portraits of everyone cringing at the horrible smell. And Toriko and Komatsu are right next to it when it knocks them out. And for like a month, the smell knocks them unconscious, wakes them up, knocks them unconscious. In that course, just keeps doing that until they can finally bear through the smell. And so now they finally have all the ingredients, I think, to build the Iho Maki, so we can finally move on to the next big arc. Because I think this was a fine finisher to a series of little one-shot adventures. So overall, I'm looking forward to the next big arc, and hopefully we'll see some real villains in that one, not just like Livebearer, who's a one-shot villain, or other like animals that they've had to fight. Like, I want to see the Bushokukai fighting Toriko and friends now. The World God Only Knows, Chapter 178-2, Once Upon a Time in Majima. Basically, this was a very quick 10-page story that was just basically meant to fill in for a break in the series. And it was dumb, it was pointless. Did it make any good jokes? No, it was basically just, oh, you recognize all these? These are all the girls that Kima's conquered throughout the days. I don't care, and it tried to make some stupid jokes at the end, but no, it sucked. So, yeah, skip it. No, it sucked. Bakuman, Chapter 167, Foolish Words and a Word, and Chapter 168, Correction and Declaration. Okay, so, 2 chapters of Bakuman came out this week. What happened? Well, in the first one, basically, the rumor is spreading about Azumi and Mashiro's relationship, and everything's kind of going berserk, and slowly but surely it's starting to seep into Team Fukuda, and even Fukuda asked about what the story behind their relationship is. So, after hearing it, he's like, I can't believe all these people are doing it! I gotta do something! Charges into a radio station, and asks for 5 minutes to talk about their relationship. Oh, that's brilliant! I left that chapter off going, yes! Yes! Of course, that's not the last time this week I would be doing that for Bakuman. With Chapter 168, he continues his tirade about people being complete assholes for hating on their relationship, which is only fueling the fire of the internet. And so, basically, in the end, he kind of apologizes, and it's really neat to see Fukuda, instead of saving the day, like he basically does every time he appears, he ends up kind of screwing up this time. It's good to see a kind of role reversal for once. But actually, Mashiro and Azumi are really happy that he was kind enough to do that for them, and so, all in all, it's alright. Especially considering what happens next. Azumi gets on her own show. Her manager is telling her, first thing you gotta do, deny any relationship. Deny it. And you know what she does? She declares it for the entire world to hear. And this is my reaction. I'm a fan of this romance, by the way. I feel you have to point that out if you're a fan of Bakuman. You have to point out whether you like the romance or not. This is what I was thinking when that happened. Yes! 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 And oh god, it was just so great. And that little bit, there wasn't a bit of hesitation in her voice. Beautiful! Yes! I love these chapters. For different reasons though. Chapter 167, just the ending, to see Fukuda just charge into that radio station. Oh, that just made the chapter for me. It was great. 168, once again, the ending. Just hearing Azumi just declare her love and her dream and their intention to get married over the air. It was wonderful. It really was. I love this series. But a lot of people, one thing I have to talk about, a lot of people have been saying, where does Bakuman go after this? Because if they do get her in the voice role, basically if they do get her into the role, they're gonna get married, and where does the series go from there? And I think, you could drag it on for one more arc if you brought back Namine. I think that's really the last thing you can do, because, let's face it, Namine has been out since the beginning to screw over Ashirogi Muto, and I would not be surprised if next chapter he came in all of a sudden saying, "Oh, I bought the animation company. I'm never going to cast her as the role." And that would not surprise me, because he's been out for Ashirogi Muto all this time. And so, basically, other than that, really, I don't think there is anywhere else for this series to go. They've been tying up loose ends for a while now, if you think about it. So, all in all, I think we may be seeing Bakuman ending soon. Actually, you know what? 2 new series recently have been started in Weekly Shonen Jump. Haiku and Pajama something. But already they have 22 series. One Piece is out this week. Gintama's out next week. And originally, I thought maybe it would be Stars, or there were other series that could be getting the boot. But what if Bakuman is just choosing to end? Or what if... I still believe Stars is going to get canceled any of these days now. Just any day. They're going to walk into the guy's office and say, "We're sorry, guys, but no one likes the series. We're going to have to ask you to finish the series up for us. But hey, good luck next time, man. Good luck." So yeah, I mean, Haiku, the new manga Haiku was made by another guy who recently got canceled in Shonen Jump, so there you go. But basically, I would not be surprised if the reason they're doing the whole absent manga thing is because, you know, they're giving these other authors breaks, but overall, Bakuman is going to end soon. I would not be surprised if Bakuman ended soon. I would not. Because right now, it seems like a good note to end it on. It really does. But overall, I'm sorry, I'm rambling a bit on that. Overall, both chapters were awesome. I love Bakuman. It's been doing good. As for this arc, a lot of people have been saying they don't really like it, but the midpoint of the arc for me has been kind of but these 2 chapters brought my opinion back up, because I really like just seeing everyone fighting so hard for this relationship. Nisekoi, Chapter 15, Rival. So, we get the appearance of a new transfer student by the name of Sugumi. Kind of like Suna, but instead of Na, it's a Gumi. Like, you couldn't figure that out on your own, but fuck it. Basically, and he's basically remembers Kurosaki from when he was a little kid, and he basically has the hots for her, and... oh yeah, he pulls a gun on Ichijo. On the school roof. And he's like, "Your reaction is worthless. You couldn't even dodge my gun. You suck." And so he's like, "I am going to win her heart from you. It's the last thing I do." And of course Ichijo's like, "Oh, fuck! If he does this, oh god, the war." And so basically he's like, "No, I will win her heart from you." And so basically now we have to deal with this. Well, I think this series might go on a little longer than Lock On. It did. Overall, this was a pretty good chapter. It was very interesting to see such a rival introduced, because I'll admit, I was kind of forgetting that the whole reason they're dating is because of a Yakuza group and a gangster group gonna go to war. And this was kind of a big, like, oh yeah, these are elements in the story. These guys are, like, they're hitmen. They will kill people. They will commit crimes. It's like, oh, fuck. So, yeah, very interesting. A great new character being introduced, and looks like a new awesome arc is being started here and now. I am very much looking forward to it. Gantz, Chapter 358, Steel March. So, as Ki Korono carries Rika out into the battlefield, all the other Gantz fighters are able to take down another big damn insect, and I love these designs of the insects. They're like these weird metamorphic creatures that it's just so freaking weird. Anyway, once they're able to take that down, they all see that Rika has officially died on this mission and give her a proper burial. And then we meet back up with the real Ki. Yeah, wrap your head around that one if you're not a Gantz fan. It turns out that he is piloting one of the giant mechs attempting to save the Earth in its last-ditch effort in order to stop the aliens, and that, of course, involves blowing up apparently some support tower that if it's destroyed, the whole place goes down. But sadly, there is a horrible giant mech in the way, and just I love this series for its artwork. I love all these different robot designs that look amazing. Like, this puts Hunter x Hunter to shame in a day. I love this series for its artwork. But, other than that, overall, a very good chapter. I really liked the cliffhanger ending on the giant robot opposing the humans. Also, one thing that's always bugged me about Gantz is that once they kind of got rid of the revival button thing, it started to kill off main characters very fast. And it's really ew. Yeah, I love this series for that. So, overall, a good chapter. Very good chapter. Detective Conan, Chapter 808, The Last Grave Visit. As with every ending to a case, I refuse to talk about it. Only my feelings about the end of the case, in which I have to say, it was alright, but, I don't know, it just seemed like a bit of a stretch to me. I mean, okay, I get it. The whole over-the-top thing is kind of what Detective Conan has been doing for a while now, because obviously after 800 chapters, it kind of gets a little stale to just have somebody die, but I just can't help but think, oh, are you serious? It was a giant... Oh, I'm sorry, I almost gave it away. No, I'm sorry, but... So that's my feeling about it. It's over the top. If you really want to see it, it's a 5-chapter little adventure starting from chapter 803. Read it yourself. I do have something I can talk about with this chapter, and that is Toru Amuro, one of the suspected people to be Bourbon, was at the grave. Why? And that's a question that has to be answered next chapter, or I'm gonna fucking flip. That being said, I did like this chapter. I liked it very much. Beelzebub, Chapter 145, Watercut. So, the conclusion to the little, what's his name? Fuck, I have it written down here. Hajime niece problem. So, how does this conclude? Well, his niece, Futaba, I believe is her name, yeah. Futaba challenges Oda to... Or Oga, that's the name. Oda's the guy who brought us One Piece, and he is to be forever loved. Oga to a water skipping contest. And of course, using the power of the demon god, he fucking destroys the water. And so, rather than try herself, Futaba gets her cousin Hajime to use his power, and what he does is he starts skipping a stone, and somehow it does a boomerang and tries to come back, bounces off a fish, and he loses. And so, of course, Oga is just laughing at the little girl, saying, haha, you lost, I won, na 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 na, because it's Oga. And so Hajime knocks him out for making her cry, and there you go, problem solved, and everything's resolved. How was the chapter? It was actually pretty interesting to see Hajime make the stone come back around, which he implemented was because of the training he got to fight demons. Which honestly shows one of Beelzebub's weakest points. It focuses on nothing but Oga. I'm tired of this bullshit. Show me the other characters. Other characters went through training and fighting. It's bullshit. Bullshit. Liar Game, Chapter 149, Insight. So, first off, let me start with a manga quote. Akiyama's the wiener? I love that. I don't know why, but that's always the voice I hear in my head when something like that happens. Anyway, what happened this chapter? Well, this chapter was basically meant to explain what Horimoto has been doing this entire time. And basically, before the game even began, him and his companions swapped panels and registered using different fingerprints so that different people could put bets for other people. And so, of course, because Horimoto has been perfectly drawing the other's attention, he's had someone else place his bid for him, but Akiyama caught on to this and placed a bit of his own while in the other player's blind spot. So, of course, rather than call out Haramoto on his little trick, he says it is because of Haramoto's spirit, and that to make sure that he doesn't interfere anymore with the game, he should go wait in the back of the toilet. Fucking A! That was awesome! In every way. It was grand to see that. So overall, this was a great chapter. I love Liar Game. Liar Game is one of the better manga I'm reading. It really is. Shaman King 0, Chapter 3, Howl of the Wolf. I'm a goddamn idiot. Okay, so this week, I read Shaman King. From start to finish, I read Shaman King. And I did not realize that Shaman King 0 was not a different series from Shaman King, but actually, it's the story of each character's past. So, real quick, I gotta sum up, I have new opinions about 1 and 2 that I gotta sum up. The first one, showing, Yo's past, about how he did his first shaman or really, well, here's the thing though, he already did. He basically got the motivation to be a shaman from, this adventure. Overall, I think it very much matches, how Yo is in the manga. And basically, like, he didn't do it for any reason but just to appease this one spirit. He didn't want her to be sent off without finally getting to see her true love again. And it's totally like Yo to want to help people out. So, overall, I definitely see that volume in a new light, along with Chapter 2. Now, Chapter 2, I said it was very preachy, it was very and that's kind of how Ren's character is, but here's the thing. I liked 2 a little bit. I kind of don't like Chapter 2 now at all, because it was just so preachy and so bullshit, and like, he's a dead person inside. There's nothing left for him but to kill. And before we even reach Chapter 100, his entire character has done a 180. That kind of pissed me off. That kind of bugged me. And so now we have Chapter 3, which is probably the saddest past in all of Shaman King, Horu's past. So let's explain what happened in this past. Basically, he had a friend called Damco because her family was going to build a dam in their town. It was going to basically take over the whole town. Their whole town be flooded out, and they need to move the town somewhere else. So everyone hated the little kid for this. No one hated the adult. Everyone hated the little kid. Assholes. And so the only person who would actually talk to her is Horu. And so they ended up going on a date and everything was happy, but Horu had a field of these special plants that he loved because his mother brought him there, and the reason Damco had taken him on that date was to try to ease the blow of the field being destroyed for the dam, and sadly this really got to Horu, and he ended up ignoring Damco for a while, and she died. She froze to death chasing after him into the mountains. And so the manga, it gets to him too. Like, it really just completely destroys him as a person, and we see that. And even throws himself off the dam to try and kill himself. Of course, his father stops him, and skip ahead 3 or 4 years later, where we find out that his spirit is actually Damco. Oh, that is so fucking sad. Granted, it's not like a bad forced sad, but it's really sad nonetheless. So overall, a good past chapter, and I'm very interested to see what the other 3 chapters are going to be like, because I don't know what other 3 characters past we're going to get into. Probably Choco Love and Lizdell's like the 2 warriors, but other than that, if I had to pick one more that I want to see, I'd probably have to pick well, maybe Anna Ryu's. I'm not sure, to be honest. But anyway, good chapter. Eureka 7, Astral Ocean, Chapter 2. So, of course, this is right after the big attack from this horrible being. And, of course, Ao, having saved the day, is completely shunned by his friends and neighbors. Yeah, it turns out everyone blames the fact that he's on the island for the reason that thing attacked. To the point where everyone is demonizing him, and there's no one who even wants to give him a second chance. Except for his friend Naru, who of course when she tells him everything's gonna everything is going to be okay. You're you. He suddenly gets abducted. Yeah, and so he's like thrown into a chair and everyone's saying, "We want you to leave the island. We know you're responsible for this, even if you don't mean it. You're responsible. We want you out of here." And so, of course, how do we solve this problem of everyone thinking he's responsible for all this bullshit? By crashing a car into the building he's being held captive, and someone saying, "Don't listen to that bullshit." So, overall, I said last chapter that I think it was a pretty generic beginning, and I gotta admit this chapter was a little better, but it was still a bit generic. I don't see any real characters that have defined themselves yet, but then again, it's still early in the series, still a bit too early to judge, so overall, I'm kind of hoping that this series really picks up and that it turns into something really good. Baby steps, 3 more new chapters, 82 through 84. What happened in these chapters? Well, after getting completely destroyed in a match versus the super pro Ike Soje, he realizes that the only way he's ever going to learn what it's like to be a pro is to make it to Ike's level. So of course he goes up back to the course where everyone else is, only to find out he's been matched up against Alex once again, his first opponent here in Florida. And he's doing a great job keeping up with Alex, able to match up everything he's going to do to the notes he's taken and able to take the first game. However, Alex has realized this and he's decided in order to surpass Maru, he has to evolve himself as a player, developing new strategies that are not in Maru's notes. I'm sorry, I'm losing my ability to talk, as you can tell. Overall, that's basically what happened these last 3 chapters. Nothing to really complain about, just basic sports manga chapters. Nothing bad, nothing fantastic yet, nothing too good, but overall, just very enjoyable. And our last chapter of this week, Addicted to Curry, chapter 92. So, what problem is solved by Curry this week? Well, there's a little girl whose father is working too hard because their mother, I can't remember if she left them or if she passed away, but she's no longer in the picture, so the father's trying to make it up to them for being basically away for too long. And she basically starts coming to the curry shop every day because, of course, our main hero looks just like her monkey her monkey stuffed animal. And so she loves being there. And of course, in order to help the father see the error of his ways and that he should be spending more time with the girl than working instead of the other way around, is basically through a special pumpkin curry that he says the daughter made herself. And of course, that brings him to tears, and they share a heartfelt moment, and everything is happy. Overall, I like the chapter. I mean, it's a nice little story, and kind of weird that the problem got solved with Curry. It's weird a lot of problems get solved with Curry, but still, it was a very nice little story, and overall, a good chapter. And that's it for this week's Walt Manga Update. Please join us every Monday for a new episode. Thank you all for watching. I am the Walt, and hey, keep on reading.